KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Was it street justice or a justified use of force? The answer to that question will determine whether San Antonio police officer Andre Vargas is returned to the force 3 years after he was fired.
KSAT's Dylan Collier walking us through the video that led to Vargas's termination and a second officer being criminally charged. But we do have a warning. Some of this footage may not be suitable for all viewers.
This tense encounter between San Antonio police officer Andre Vargas and suspect Matthew Garza had never been shown publicly before today. Vargas's actions during the late November 2019 evading arrest case led to him and another officer being fired in the summer of 2020 for a flurry of SAPD rules violations, including use of force and treatment of prisoners. Attorneys for the city said the decision to fire Vargas was the right call and that Garza posed no threat.
When a person does this means they're getting ready to fight.
While Vargas's attorney, Ben Cifuentes, said his client responded appropriately to a suspect who acted aggressively and was not immediately following commands. The other officer, Michael Brewer, was accused of kneeling on Garza's neck during the arrest. A grand jury indicted Brewer for unlawful restraint last year, but the criminal case was dismissed last month. Vargas was never criminally charged. Vargas's arbitration comes just days after 3 SAPD officers were charged with murder for the shooting death of 46-year-old Melissa Perez, meaning this case will play out against the backdrop of increased scrutiny of SAPD's use of force. Vargas's hearing is expected to last through Thursday. Reporting downtown, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
And as Dylan just said, the San Antonio Police Department under scrutiny after 3 officers were charged in the murder of Melissa Perez 5 days ago.
Yeah, you're looking at some of the body cam footage. Our KSAT Investigates team found all 3 of those officers had recently completed the training to deal with someone experiencing a mental health crisis. Chief William McManus said Perez was having a mental health crisis at the time of that shooting. SAPD has a specialized team called the Mental Health Unit. We asked yesterday if that unit was called Friday to Melissa Perez's apartment. We still have not received a response. Joe Smaro, who worked in that unit for more than a decade, says when he left the department in 2020, that department had a dozen or so people in it, but they did not respond to calls 24 hours a day. All 3 officers charged with Perez's murder had gone through de-escalation and mental health training in the last 4 months. Smaro says looking at this video, it's clear they did not follow that training.
Had they followed what they were trained to do just this year, would Melissa Perez be alive?
My opinion is yes. Melissa Perez would still be alive.
Now, we sent a request to the San Antonio Police Department yesterday to get information on how many people make up its mental health unit as of today and how many calls they have responded to. But we haven't gotten a response back yet.
Yeah, there are still so many unanswered questions about Melissa Perez's death. Why did San Antonio police act swiftly in charging the officers involved? What do the charges mean? And where do we go from here? RJ
Marquez spoke with a St. Mary's assistant law professor to get some answers on what comes next.
Melissa Perez was shot and killed by 3 San Antonio police officers early Friday morning. The officers were arrested and charged with murder that same day. St. Mary's assistant law professor Alexandra Klein says it's unusual to see charges filed that quickly in police shootings.
It's possible that charging decision was made after looking at the footage and concluding that there was, at this time, probable cause to conclude that those actions were intentional.
Klein says the charges of murder instead of manslaughter come down to intent.
Murder has a higher mental state or intent. In Texas, intentionally or knowingly causing someone's death is murder. Miss Perez was in her home. She was behind a locked door. And the warrant specifically states that she wasn't an imminent threat.
San Antonio police are investigating the deadly shooting. The Bexar County District Attorney's Office will then review and prepare the cases to present to the grand jury.
And the grand jury determines if there is probable cause, to move forward, which would lead to an indictment for the crime. And grand juries can also decline to indict as well.
But at this point, Klein says there are serious questions about officers using deadly force based on what we've seen from the body camera footage and what we know about the case, including that Perez did not have a gun.
Concerns about the justifications for the attempts to enter into Ms. Perez's home, as well as why the officers thought that she was a sufficient threat to use deadly force when she was inside her home some distance from the officers.
RJ Marquez, KSAT 12 News.
And a 16-year-old recovering after being shot. He was able to drive away from the scene, though. It happened about 11 o'clock last night in the 700 block of Mizuno Way. That's on the south side. It's near Pleasanton Road and Mitchell Lake, to give you a better idea. According to SAPD, the teen told officers 2 men shot him in the hip. Police say the victim was able to get away and drive home. He was taken to BAMC and is expected to recover. No word on any suspects or a motive in this one.
A man was shot after he walked outside of his home in order to check out a honking car horn. Tonight, police are still searching for those suspects. It happened around 4 o'clock in the morning in the 1100 block of Brady Boulevard. That's on the west side. The victim taken to a nearby hospital. He is expected to recover. SAPD says they questioned a woman who was inside the home at the time. Officers say the suspect drove off after the shooting. No description of the vehicles has been released. A huge update tonight in the case of the 53 migrants who died a year ago after being trapped inside a tractor trailer without air conditioning.
The U.S. Attorney's Office confirming they have now arrested 4 Mexican nationals. Those arrests happening in San Antonio, Houston, and Marshall, Texas.
Courtney Friedman at that press conference. She joins us now from the site on Quintana Road.
What started as a grisly and tragic discovery here on Quintana Road has now turned into a beautiful memorial. There are family members here tonight who have come to remember, relieved to hear of the 4 new arrests.
Que él venía para acá, para Pablo wanted it to come to a better life for him and his girlfriend.
Rafaela Ortega spent the day remembering her 20-year-old son, Pablo Alvarez, and her 43-year-old brother, Jesus Ortega. Both died in the tractor trailer a year ago.
When you ignore the screams of humanity of others solely for profit, we will bring you and the members of your organization to justice.
The U.S. Attorney's Office held a press conference today explaining that 4 Mexican nationals were arrested yesterday in San Antonio, Houston, and Marshall, Texas, for their alleged connection to the smuggling case, which left 53 migrants dead and 11 injured. They are 30-year-old Riley Covarrubias Ponce, 28-year-old Felipe Ordina Torres, 37-year-old Luis Alberto Rivera Leal, and 53-year-old Armando Gonzalez Ortega.
These individuals work together to facilitate the transportation of the migrants using each other's routes, their stash houses, their trucks, and other resources.
The incident alleges they helped smuggle adults and children from Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico into the United States between December 2021 and June 2022. The alleged driver, Homero Zamorano Jr., was arrested a year ago after police say he ran from the truck and tried to hide in the brush. Christian Martinez was also arrested a year ago for his alleged coordination of the smuggling operation. All the men arrested today are facing 4 charges, including the conspiracy and transportation, resulting in both death and serious bodily injury. If convicted, they each face a maximum penalty of life in prison. To Ortega, it offers just a little closure.
Pues dile que I'm happy. She's happy because she's making justice.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
The state of Texas plans to pay a company hundreds of thousands of dollars in an effort to block migrant crossings on the Rio Grande. According to a copy of the contract, Cochrane USA was awarded a base contract of $850,000 to deploy floating border barriers in the river. Governor Greg Abbott says the first 1,000 feet of floating marine barrier will be placed near the city of Eagle Pass, that's in Maverick County. Records show Texas scheduled to deploy the barriers early next month, but according to the International Boundary and Water Commission, the governor's not obtained the permits to deploy those buoys from the commission.
Buckling pavement. It's just one of the side effects of this excessive heat we've had for so long. The Texas Department of Transportation admitting that, the roads are buckling due to temperatures, and that's why TxDOT crews are now working overnight to repair this ramp onto I-10 in Houston. Temperatures in the city peaking around 100 degrees. It's even hotter, obviously, in other parts of the state, including ours.
Yeah, meanwhile, we'll look outside right now, and Adam, the question is, When is relief on the way? Even a little relief we'll take right now.
Little bits of relief, it's on the way in the days ahead here. Over the next 7 days, we will be trimming back temperatures a little bit. But today, another hot one. 104 officially at the airport in town. That's 1 degree shy of the record high for today. 105 set back in 1980. The average, by the way, 93 degrees. Del Rio, pointing them out because 110, that marks their 10th consecutive record-breaking day so far, and they could do it again tomorrow. As for this evening, clear sky, temperatures falling through the 90s gradually. By 8 o'clock, 99, 10 o'clock, 91 degrees. Warm, very humid, and a bit of a breeze out of the southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. In just a little bit, we'll be back to talk about that weakening upper level heat high, what it means for temperatures, rain chances, and a look at lake levels in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. We'll check out traffic right now. This is I-35 at San Marcos. San Marcos Street, not the city of San Marcos, as you see downtown San Antonio off to the right up there. A little bit of a traffic slowdown, nothing all that unusual, though, for this time of day.
Still ahead on the news at 6, a local man took the deep dive to the Atlantic, to the Titanic, and survived. After the break, we're going to hear from him and why he's a member of an elite group where danger is often part of the mission.
A local man who survived his own dive in a submersible in a sub to view the Titanic years ago says he's not sure he would have taken the chance aboard the Titan submersible.
Colonel Don Morley, a retired Air Force engineer and pilot, part of an elite group dedicated to pushing the scientific envelope while traveling around the world. He, along with 2 of the men who were lost aboard the Titanic tour last week, are all members of the Explorers Club, a group with a mission that often includes the element of danger. Down, 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 12,000 feet or more aboard the Mir submersible back in the year 2000. Before Don Morley agreed to this trip, though, the electrical engineer and physics expert did a lot of research on this vessel.
So I remember when we closed the hatch, I was thinking, here we go. Yeah.
This was early on in deep-sea travel aboard the Mir, and the San Antonio retired colonel did have a nervous moment or two when shortly after descending, he noticed water dripping inside the sphere.
The thing is, if it does start to leak, or, you get an implosion, what happens, the pressure builds up extremely quick, and the temperature goes skyrockets, 1,000, 10,000 degrees, who knows. But you actually incinerate before then the water washes your ashes away.
A horrible thought, but his leak was simply condensation drops. That said, knowing what he knows now about the Mir he was in as opposed to the carbon fiber tube construction of the Titan, he says he can see a problem.
So if you put pressure inside something that's carbon fiber, it's really strong. You can't blow it apart. But just like string, if you take string, you can pull it here. But if you push on it, it just folds.
Morley wanted to make sure that we all know that his 2 fellow Explorer Club members who died aboard the Titan knew the danger and wanted nothing more than to go where few men or women have gone before.
Got some breaking news I want to bring you right now. The San Antonio Fire Department responding to this fire at an apartment complex in the 5600 block of Evers Road. You can see it on the roof of this apartment building. This, to give you a better idea, is near Evers and 410. Yeah, those flames are really just billowing off the top of that, what looks like an apartment complex. Again, we're not exactly sure what it is, but this is active fire. You can see that there's 2 ladders on the scene right now. One is actually 3, if I'm counting correctly, 1 on the ground and 2 in the air. But only one of the ladders appears to be pouring water directly onto those flames. Yeah, I see a couple of them actually, and we can't see obviously in the smoke what is beyond, but it looks like one of those water cannons is actually shooting towards the middle of that smoke. There you see the third water cannon that just turned on right there. And this is a very, Evers and 410 busy at this time of night. So people who are traveling on 410 are no doubt seeing this as they go by. We have a crew that's also on the way right now. You're watching it live with Sky 12. This is an apartment complex, we believe, in the 5600 block of Evers. It is a fire that is not under control right now, We're going to continue to monitor the situation, of course, bring you more, hopefully, before this newscast is over.
And just look at the smoke pouring off of that thing, so it may be obscuring traffic as well. If you're driving around in that area, you might want to steer clear. In any event, we are keeping an eye on the weather as well, because it's hot enough to make that fire burn hard, even hotter.
And that's what you think about the firefighters who are out there, fighting a fire like this with the, 70 pounds of equipment on their back.
103 degrees out there right now.
Yeah, Courtney Freeman did that story, a week or so ago, and the heat, of course, the natural heat, not just the fire, has a major impact on those firefighters. We will be trimming back temperatures a little bit. Take a look at our temperature trend. Tomorrow, we're forecasting 102, then an even 100 Thursday through Saturday. And get this, even upper 90s in the forecast by Sunday and into next week. Tuesday, we could be talking high temperature of 97 degrees. There is some action across the nation. Pacific Northwest, New England, parts of the East Coast there. That's where we have the dips in the upper level flow. But also just outside of our heat high, around the edge of it, we have these ridge riders riding the edge of the ridge here. And this is where the severe weather zone is today. Right now, it's in the panhandle of Oklahoma for the most part, but you see the shower activity even in New Mexico at this time. We're under the center of that high, so we're not going to see any of that activity right now. But this high does slide eastward, the heat high, and it pushes eastward and weakens and breaks down a bit. And that's going to open the door for the potential for us to develop a few pop-up storms. And if there was a good disturbance nearby, the door would be open for that disturbance. Here's a look at our just generalized precipitation potential over the next 7 days. This isn't supposed to be very specific. It just shows you the areas where we'll see most of the rain in the dark green. That's especially east of the Mississippi. But even closer to San Antonio, we could get in on some of that activity by early next week. We're reintroducing the chance of some afternoon and early evening showers and thunderstorms. Not even a slight chance Wednesday through Sunday. By Monday, we're at 10%. Tuesday, we're up to 20%. So some isolated activity we are expecting to develop in those afternoons and early evenings. Again, we have to wait until Monday and then Tuesday. We could use all the rain we could get, of course, after this sunny hot stretch. And you look at area reservoir levels. Canyon Lake Reservoir, 75% full. That's 13 feet below the conservation pool. Of course, Medina, notorious for huge swings. It's at 5%, one of its low points again. And that's 83 feet below the conservation pool. You go down the list, and all of the lakes listed here are below. LBJ, it's negligible. 99% full. That's 0.2 of a foot below the conservation pool. Let's talk temperatures and heat index. 103 right now, feels like 106. Notice that gap between the air temperature and the feels like heat index is narrowing compared to the past couple of weeks. We're finally starting to see the drier dew points in the afternoon, the lower dew points. Cotulla's at 112, was 113 last hour. Eagle Pass 108. New Braunfels 104 now, Comfort 101. But we still have these dew points in the 60s, and as long as that dew point is above 60, it will give you a bit of a heat index. That's not the case west of I-35. Del Rio, 53-degree dew point, Cotulla 52. In turn, heat indices are actually a few degrees lower than the actual air temperature, but we're still feeling the heat index here and eastward as well. Tomorrow we start the day at 78 degrees. Going to be a lot of sunshine again tomorrow. By noon, we're 94, but feeling like 101. By 4 o'clock, we hit 102, but it's going to feel like it's closer to 107, 108 in the afternoon when you factor in that mugginess. Air temperature, Castroville tomorrow, 103. 101 Seguin, Nixon Smiley 102, along with Sabinal at 103. There we are, trimming back those highs a little bit, baby steps downward. You can't expect big changes this time of year, but what I like to see is the introduction of some afternoon pop-up storms.
Yes, that would be nice. Thank you, Adam.
All right, so the All-Star game in Seattle this year, and there's a San Antonio kid who wants to be there, Dave.
Yeah, he doesn't need like a GoFundMe page or anything like that. He just needs a little help getting there in a different way. Just a vote. We'll have that for you in just a second. Senator Josh Young looking for your help to get to Seattle. And also, Fight Night coming to AT&T Center. We'll talk about who is on that card. Oh, it's going to be exciting.
Westburn, Flair, left side. It gets touchdown, and Jordan Westberg has his first major league hit.
What a night. What an MLB debut for the books. And it made an impression on his manager in big board sports. It was a major league debut that couldn't have been much better for New Braunfels native Jordan Westberg. He had a hit, RBI, scored a run. Before a 2-hour rain delay, he got a rally started with his first at-bat. He went down 0-2, fouled a few off, worked the count, got to 3-2, then shot by, let the low pitch go by for ball 4, took his base. Family pumped to see him on base for his first at-bat. Manager also happy because it started a little rally.
That was tough conditions for sure. And, yeah, hung in there, worked a walk, started the rally for us. That was, and it got really sloppy after that. But for him to that be his first at bat, it was not the ideal conditions, and credit to him for working a walk there.
The Orioles host Cincinnati again today. Jordan is back in the 7th spot, and he is playing second again. And the Texas Rangers putting on a final push for their players to make the American League All-Star team. San Antonio's own Josh Jung is the leading vote getter for third base. He is batting .296, 15 homers, 15 doubles. He also has a .98 fielding percentage at third. Voting ends Thursday, 11 a.m. You can vote at the MLB website. Jung, who attended MacArthur High School, played for Texas Tech University, has won back-to-back American League Rookie of the League awards for April and May. Hey, the Missions have wrapped up the first half of the Texas League season, finished with the best record, meaning they will be making an appearance in the postseason later this year. Tomorrow, the Missions start the second half of the season. San Antonio is going to host Frisco Rough Riders for a 6-game series. There will be a Missions jacket giveaway on Friday, Sunday park in the park, and Monday will be their Independence Day celebration with a post-game concert and fireworks. And Fight Night comes to the Alamo City on Saturday, July 8th. Virgil Ortiz Jr. is going to be in San Antonio for the first time as the main event at the AT&T Center. And their boxer on the slate is 20-year-old Floyd Kid Austin Schofield. Schofield grew up in Austin, but he moved to San Antonio and has been training here for years. He has an impressive undefeated record of 14-0, 11 knockouts. Now Kid Austin takes on 35-year-old Haskell Rhodes in front of local boxing fans for his first time at the AT&T Center. And KSAT 12 Sports caught up with him this afternoon about being featured as the co-main event under Golden Boy Productions.
Man, it's amazing. Oscar, we love Oscar. He's the best promoter out there. Golden Boy Promotions is the best promotion company. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity they gave me. I mean, just as of right now, having only, 4 fights with them, they just put me on the biggest platform. So I'm grateful for them. And like I said, it's a dream come true, being able to be by these legends. I know I'm going to have a little bit of butterflies. I'm going to be anxious, but I'm going to go out there, do what I got to do, and, give my hometown crowd a good fight.
Looking forward to it. You can see Kid Austin put his 14-0 record on the line on the DAZN broadcast or in person at the AT&T Center once again July 8th, and tickets are on sale now.
Kid Austin, but from San Antonio.
But from San Antonio, well,
Yeah.
Smart move on his part.
Two cities represented. Thanks,
there you go. And we also have the mayor of the city of San Antonio on the line, and we're going to have Q&A with him next.
It was Friday night about 9:20 p.m. when San Antonio Police Chief William McManus announced that 3 San Antonio police officers would likely be facing murder charges in connection to the shooting death of Melissa Perez. We are joined now by San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Mr. Mayor, I noticed that the city manager, Eric Walsh, was there. I'm guessing that you also got a call on Friday telling you what the police chief was about to do. Your reaction to that shooting and what needs to happen now?
Well, I appreciate the chief acting swiftly, and also that the body cam footage was made available quickly. The body cam footage for most people, including myself who have viewed it, is very disturbing. The use of force appears to be abused, and the response seems to be excessive, as the chief says, inconsistent with the training and protocols of SAPD. So as we know, as it stands now, there are investigations underway. Those officers are now put on leave as part of the due process, but they also now face murder charges. So I appreciate again that this was all done swiftly, because the whole episode is very disturbing.
Does it bother you that the mental health unit may not have been called in this case, that there may have been a ball dropped here?
It does. And, it also concerns me that it doesn't appear to be a situation where there was an attempt to de-escalate it. So, these are challenges that and issues that are going to be in the investigation. But needless to say, what we saw on those videos is very disturbing. And I think the chief was acted appropriately and, in acting so swiftly.
Mr. Mayor, we talked to a member of that mental health unit. He was part of the police force up until 2020. He said there were about 12 of them at that time. They did not respond to calls 24 hours a day. Have you talked to the police chief about that possibility and if we need to ramp up the mental health unit when it comes to SAPD?
Actually, we've had an entire city council discussion going on over the last couple of years since this was initiated first as a pilot, about the reasons for this kind of interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary response. And the SA core team is designed to do just that, to provide an alternative response when we know there's a mental health episode. So, I would say again that, this entire situation seems to be excessive, not consistent with training and protocols that we know have been established. And so, what the chief has done in his executive authority over the department, I think, is entirely appropriate.
Changing gears just a little bit, another issue that many San Antonians are talking about right now, we can't help it because it's inescapable, and that is the weather. We have been on a string of over 100 degrees every day for quite some time now. What is the city doing? This kind of excessive heat is dangerous to anyone who lives on the street or does not have air conditioning.
I think that's the key. What you just said, Ursula, is the fact that this heat is dangerous for folks who are not, hydrated, who are maybe trapped in an area where they don't have a climate control. But it's excessive to say the least. As you see, I'm kind of on the move right now, and I'm looking at the thermostat. It says a 109. So this is not a normal heat wave that we're experiencing. We are in the midst of an awareness campaign to make sure people know the signs of heat-related illness, what to do to prevent it. We're providing cooling centers all over town, as well as resources available to people if they have the heat illness come upon them. So, what we would urge people to do again is to make sure they stay hydrated, watch for signs of heat-related illness. If they need a cool place to stay, our cooling centers are open. They can call 311 to access that, or go to sa.gov, and on the front page there you can see our Beat the Heat campaign and all the resources available to get people out of this just incredibly difficult weather.
I want to talk about the 1 year mark we're at right now, marking the 1 year of the discovery of the 53 migrants that were in the back of that tractor trailer. There's been talk of having a more permanent memorial out there. There's some makeshift crosses out there. There's a memorial right now. I know that Councilwoman Adriana Rocha Garcia talked about the fact that she wants this to happen. Your stance when it comes to a permanent memorial out there in Quintana Road?
Oh, I support that 100%. In fact, I met with Councilmember Rocha Garcia earlier today, and we talked about this. And there's some work being done, scoping and things that are happening in our city departments. But this is a tragic event from a human perspective. And regardless of your thoughts on immigration policy, our first and most important responsibility in our city is to treat people with compassion, and recognizing that this was the worst inland migrant disaster in our nation's history, and it happened right here in our community. We ought to do our part to remember the lives lost and to recognize them. And so we're going to do that, and we're obviously going to go through the process of finding the best way to do it. But I think there's already some ideas, and the most important thing, again, is just to honor the lives lost. Right.
And I wish there were a solution that it would never, ever happen again as well.
You and me both. And the thing about it is we need to separate the policy discussions and the disagreements of partisan politics from the fact that these are real human beings. And, you know, people lost their lives, family members were lost, families were devastated, and we should honor their memory with a memorial, to say the least.
All right, I saw you at the Arneson River Theater on Saturday welcoming Wemby. I want to talk about what this means for the city of San Antonio. Obviously, it's great for the Spurs. What does it mean for San Antonio?
It's almost incalculable, Steve. I mean, the mood has changed. The optimism is very profound. The economic impact we've already had experience with when Tim was drafted about 26 years or so ago. So all that is true. I think that one of the most important things is that all of a sudden all eyes once again from the sports world and elsewhere are on San Antonio. And in the meanwhile, we've been making some pretty important moves and developments here in our city, making the investments necessary in our people to make this a great city. And a lot of people are going to rediscover that all over again. And there's going to be a lot of people all over the world who are going to fall in love with San Antonio, maybe for the first time, but certainly once again.
I'm just wondering, does the mayor have to buy season tickets, or did they just set aside a chair for you?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, no benefits there, but you can bet I'm going to try to go to some games this year.
Yeah, I saw you already have your jersey ready, so
yeah.
I'm glad we could end on a lighter topic because obviously we talked about a lot of heavy things today, so I'm glad we could end with a smile. Mayor Ron Nirenberg, appreciate your time. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ursula. And our prayers continue to be with those lives that have been devastated. And this policing incident with the Perez family, to the migrants and the families they leave behind. Our prayers are always with the people here in San Antonio.
As are ours. Thank you.
We'll be right back.